Blast from the grassroots, connecting people and sharing ideas.
Hey, this is Arlene.
Hi, this is Grace.
And of course, we are continuing our segment with the Blast from the Grassroots.
And it's pretty exciting because it's got to do with food and I love food.
Are you hungry?
Going to. It's morning.
Yeah. Actually, we were craving burgers last week, right?
Oh my God, that was crazy. We were like, burgers.
But in the end, we couldn't get into the burger that we wanted to go.
And then what was that?
Anyway, we have one of the co-founders of myBurgerLab. Welcome to the studio.
Hello, Ren Yi.
Hi, morning. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. How are you? Are you awake?
I'm pretty awake, although I slept late, but yes, I'm pretty awake.
Oh, that's awesome.
So tell us more about yourself and why you and your co-founders started a burger joint or a restaurant that caters to all the burger lovers.
Okay. Well, I'm personally an engineering graduate, but the moment I graduated, I knew that I didn't want to be working for someone else, as much as I did love engineering. But I had a secret passion for hospitality and F&B. I did work in F&B a lot part-time while I was studying. So right after I graduated, I worked in several different cafes. The last one would be at the Red Bean Bag in Publica. So while I was working there, I was kind of focusing on, it was actually run by my friend. So I was focusing on emulating what they do, trying to learn from what they do and get inspired by them. And as I went through the process of learning how to start up a cafe, I started talking to suppliers, distributors, and whatnot. And as we went through that process, I realized that there was going to be a lot of people that was going to open up cafes in the near future. And because of that, me and my partner, at that time there was only two of us, we decided to say, let's stay away from that scene because we can't compete with these guys. We knew that there was a lot of people with a lot of money who was going to be in the cafe scene. So we said, let's start something different. And I thought back about my experience while I was traveling in the States, in San Francisco. And I went to this restaurant called In-N-Out. Served really, really amazing burgers. It looked like McDonald's, but they cook everything to order. And that really blew my mind because here in Malaysia, we only have McDonald's, we have Ramly to compare to.
We only have two, popular ones,
yes.
McDonald's and Ramly Burger.
Ramly Burger is Malaysian made.
Yeah.
But we don't have the middle path. You want a good burger, but it's not like fast food, and it's not Ramly Burgers because they only sell it like really late at night.
In fact, a few branches actually coming. All those international branches, such as Burger King, is one of them. And McDonald's is, of course, is the famous one.
But what makes you different from a fast food?
Well, we still we still identify ourselves as a fast food restaurant. Though the word fast might not be exactly what describe how we do things, but we're definitely cooking as fast as we can. But good food doesn't mean good food takes time to cook. So does a good hamburger. So by definition, hamburger is a fast food. But we cook it properly, and it takes that little bit of extra time. That's why there's that wait. So the only difference that we are from the big guys is we do a lot of things ourselves. We don't believe in shortcuts. We bake our own buns. We grind our own beef.
You bake your own buns?
We bake our own buns.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
We grind our own beef. The beef come in huge blocks, 25 kg blocks. We cut
Is
them
it like
down.
local beef or?
No, Australian grass-fed beef. And yeah, we do everything by ourselves. Short from making our own cheese and growing our own vegetables. Everything else,
It sounds so original. Yeah. And also I think that makes myBurgerLab so stand out from
But
other
how do you
burgers.
even create this recipe? Because it sounds like there's a lot of work needs to be done. You
alright.
need to do everything from scratch.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. And we were definitely inspired by a lot of F&B startups in America, whereby they do believe in this such concept, whereby don't take shortcuts. If you have to do it from scratch, you do it from scratch because the quality, the freshness do come through when you do it yourself. Just a side info, extra fact. Between the three of us founders, two of us are engineers. One of us is a accounts and finance guy. So now none of us have a culinary background. And our chef is actually Google. So what we did is we Google and look for recipes. We just typed in, best recipe for buns, best recipe for patties, and we work from there. We kind of tweaked it.
How many trial and errors that you have to go through to
Wow.
actually create this perfect burger
Exactly.
and fries?
People generally think that it took a long time, but for us we were pretty lucky and very fortunate. But us being engineers and being very scientifically minded, we broke things down to X, Y, and Z.
Yeah,
And
that's
then,
why there's the word lab there.
Yes, that's correct. That is how we started. We saw cooking as a form of science, and so we tweaked it and changed it as we moved along. So total there was 10 trial sessions with friends and families and friends of friends. On the first trial, oh by the way, we used my friend's cafe, the Ripin Back, for trial.
Oh, I
They were
see.
closed at night, so we rented their place. So what we actually applied was what they call the lean startup methodology in the tech companies. Okay, use as little money as possible, as little time as possible, make as many mistakes as possible. So we applied that to the food industry. Each of us fork out 1,000 ringgit. We rented the place for 10 sessions, and on the first session, I was baking my first bun, and people were saying, "Yeah, you guys should stick to what you're doing." Up until the 8th session, where we tweaked it so much and so quickly that people were saying, "I haven't had this before." And that was still when the bun was still a regular colored bun.
Brownish yellow.
Brownish.
Yeah,
brownish.
now
Yeah.
you
But
have.
the texture is still what it is right now. At that time, when people were telling us that you guys have something special on your hands, we were like, okay, how can we make ourselves become famous as soon as possible? Because how do we differentiate ourselves from everyone out there? And that's when the charcoal bun was born. I was shopping for baking ingredients. I saw this little jar of black powder, and we asked them, what is this? And they said, oh, they use this to make Japanese loaf. And I was thinking, can I incorporate this into the bun? So we added a little bit of it, turned it gray black, and when people during the 9 and 10 session when we dished it out, people were shocked. They were like, "What is this?" In Chinese they call it chao da, like burnt. But the shock factor was that, and when they bite into it, they're like, "Wow, I expected it to be hard, to be bitter, but it's still sweet, soft, fluffy."
But
Which
does
was
it
the
does it
color.
affect the
It
taste?
that's the important thing. We made sure it didn't affect the taste, didn't affect the texture. It was still the same bun, just different color. And we saw the shock factor. We saw the interest that it generated. Our Facebook likes doubled within the night. People shared on Instagram, on Facebook, and people were asking, where can I get this?
Oh, right.
And we realized we had something good on our hands. People were coming for a specific reason. We want them to return for the flavors, which we already worked on in the first 8 tests. So the 9 and 10 tests were basically to prove that our concept worked. That the black bun was something to go for.
But your success in building a restaurant that focuses on burger, is it because the current market or demand for burgers is high, considering there's a lot of young people here in KL, but the options for burger is very limited. It's either Ramly or McDonald's.
I wouldn't say so. I think okay, the way I see this is Chinese, we have our own, let's say, char kway teow. The Malays, we have nasi lemak. Indians, we could have our roti canai,
Curry,
example.
yeah.
All right. But one thing that is, an item that all of us can agree is a good go-to food would be burgers. We grew up eating it. So whether you like it or not, burgers, as American as it is Malaysian as well. So we believe that there was a market for it. But what we did is we didn't expect to have such a creative menu. We wanted an in-and-out menu, which is 3 burgers: beef burger, cheeseburger, double cheeseburger. But as we grew,
All of them are beef?
all beef. That was how it started. Then we realized that people wanted chicken, people wanted vegetarian.
Yeah, because you have, in Malaysia,
Yes.
you have the vegetarian, the Hindu, and then the
So much so
Muslim.
that we had to split our girdles. Beef will cook beef only, chicken will cook. Chicken girdle will cook the chicken girdle only. We were responding because we wanted to be the people's brand. Even we started small, we wanted it to be a community brand, and we started listening to people. We were responding to them, and that's how we built our fan base as well. It wasn't so much because we were selling black burgers. Not even once did we advertise, best charcoal burger or just charcoal burger. That is no tagline. We
Did
just
you
talk
advertise at all?
No.
Yeah,
so far.
it's very much a word of mouth thing. Like
Yes.
I heard that, I had it before. And I mean, it's always like you heard someone having it and it was really good, and then they just share with other people.
Yep. We had a very tight budget, to be fair. That's also the reason why we're located where we are located in Sea Park. Rental was cheap.
Yeah, it was not
Actually, I
easy
wanted
to
a-
find.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to ask about the location. In fact, why to the top of the hills there?
It's like in the middle of like
the middle of
just
nowhere.
shop lots.
Yeah.
So we were looking around uptown Bangsa, a lot of high traffic area,
Mhm.
and the rentals are definitely 8K and above.
For sure.
And it's something that we couldn't afford. Between the three of us, we only had 250,000. And when we were talking to other restaurateurs, they said, "Oh, you need about 600 in your bank. 300 to set up the restaurant, the other 300 to keep rolling. You can't expect your business to just take off on the go." And we were like, "Oh no, what do we do?" So that's why the black color, the charcoal bun came about. We wanted to get famous as quick as possible. That solved the first issue. Then the second issue is, okay, now that we have this, can we make people come to us? When we saw the traffic spike in our Facebook pages, we realized that people were interested, people would come. So we don't need a high traffic area.
So your engagement is actually via Facebook. I mean, I would say marketing engagement.
99%.
99%.
99%.
And recently and I have to highlight this, with the somehow proposed to change the name of roads. You actually did something unique with your burgers.
We didn't exactly. Okay, this is I don't know how long have you been following our Facebook, but we've
Not that
always
long.
been. It's okay, and we've always been very cheeky about how we do things.
Yeah.
One thing I've believed in is it's your own business. You do it how you wanna. Okay, you
True.
don't have to follow rules that were set before by other people. And
Yep.
because we were not from the F&B background, we have no rules to follow, and we made it a very personal brand. The road changed for itself. We wanted, we think it's funny to make fun of it, and it's a bit crazy to change, Jalan Olo to something that's a little bit, with no disrespect to the sultans and whatnot. But we wanted to highlight how bombastic it is if you did that. So we have a simple A+ burger, and we change it to a very long Malay or Chinese Indian name.
Are they actually?
No, we didn't. It was just our posters are very what people would say Nando-ish.
Nando-ish, yeah.
We are inspired by them as well. I'm not afraid to name the names because that's how you grow. You take inspiration from other people and you make it your own. Like for example, April Fool is something that we take pride in. The first April Fools, we started in 2012, July. So the first April Fools we celebrated was in 2013, April. And we decided to play a prank because we feel that a lot of times April Fools is taken as a joke. You tell a joke and that's it. We
Yep.
wanted to prank people. And at that time there were a lot of people requesting for delivery. And we put out a poster saying, "Oh, for now we do delivery, beta testing. Use this code for a special gift." But the code was Trolololo.
Oh, so a little bit of a hint there.
Yeah. And the number that we gave was a delivery number for a specific big burger joint out there. If you look at the number, you know who you get to. And people were mad. People were calling in. It's like, "Oh, this number, we call it to the big guy." And we're like, yeah, that's the fun part. Some people liked the joke, some people didn't, but it created controversy, which also gave us more publicity. So apart from that, like I said, a lot of our
Did the big burger joint reacted?
no.
Did they give any statement? They're like, why are you messing with us?
Not yet, but they definitely did get a few calls, ordering myBurgerLab burgers. But it was all in the name of good fun. So yeah. So
Great.
apart from that, we did a lot of such posters and events just to make fun of current events. Yeah.
I have a question because you're not the only one in this myBurgerLab founder. You have two other friends like you mentioned before. How did you actually work together, three of you guys? Because when it comes to ideas, there may be a clashing of ideas, and also to be able to make a final decision. Who makes the final decision, and who's in charge of marketing, who's in the creative team, and who sells the burger, and who cooks the burger?
Well, it's definitely a three-man effort. We definitely.
Oh,
do
it's very
split.
masculine. 3 men. Where are the girls?
Burger Brothers.
And I definitely do welcome a feminine voice in the team, but it just didn't happen.
It could be very noisy.
It just didn't happen. But being I'm the eldest between the three of them, and I have the most F&B experience, given that I work part-time and whatnot. And initially, partially, myBurgerLab is my idea, so we were kind of hesitant on who would take the lead. We just kind of let things flow. And when it comes down to certain big decision, and I decided to step up and made some calls that were, at that time, we didn't know if it was going to work, and it worked. And I think there it built a bit of confidence in myself, and they trusted in my judgment. So that's where I started taking the creative direction of where BurgerLab would be.
But where does all this creative idea come from? Because you guys just have a lot of this, ideas.
Like when it comes to
It's more than
especially
just
marketing.
it's more than just like making burgers.
It's
Like, do you guys just sit down on the
No,
chair?
it's all on the
like,
whim. It's all on the whim.
Or you were driving your co-founders and then like, hey, why don't we?
No, we just throw ideas. We have an ideation page, Facebook group page, and we just throw ideas on there. Whatever we see interesting out there, we just share it there, and then let ideas develop. I don't want to say I'll take all the credits, but generally I am the creative mind of myBurgerLab. My other partner, Changming, he takes care of the centralized kitchen. He makes sure that the quality,
I see.
everything is done properly. He's good at that. He's good.
So he's more of the operational guy lah.
Yes, for the centralized kitchen. He's also good at construction because his family does that. So every time we have a new store, he takes care of that. He makes sure the bill is good. Everything is done to proper coding. And then Wikit, he's the finance guy. He handles HR. He handles a lot of back-end stuff that I don't want to touch. And without him, the business wouldn't be there
Of
as well.
course.
So we have our own individual skills that we discovered as we went along the way.
But is it really easy to be an entrepreneur in Malaysia? Especially you guys are very young, right? When you started out.
Define young. Well, to be specific, I'm 33. Changming is 28, 29. Wikit is 26.
But when you
Very
started out
young.
was
2 years ago.
2
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
But when you started out, like, do you feel nervous? Like,
Oh yeah, of course.
Because this is
it-
not even your area. I
It
mean,
scared the shit out of me.
Well, what was the biggest the challenge when you guys actually started? Because that was considered the
Taking the
startup
first step.
business, right? Yes.
Taking the first step, that was the biggest challenge for us, because right after we realized that there's nothing to fear, just go for it. Richard Branson said it, pretty much. We were not inspired. We were egged on by him after when we found the book. It says, "Screw it, just do it." We read the book and we realized that.
Otherwise, you would never know.
Yeah, we did all our homework and we were just afraid to take this first step. I think a lot of entrepreneurs are afraid to take the first step.
Yep.
Especially during, 2-3 years ago when there's not so many startups. In the last 1 year, you see so many. The word startup is just thrown around everywhere. Entrepreneurship is just thrown around.
Yep.
And that's a good thing. But someone needs to take the lead and show that it's doable. So for us, we read up a lot. We did our research and we realized, you know what, we know what we're doing. Let's try. Let's test it on people. If you don't know if it's good or not, how do you know if people are gonna buy your food? So we started, going out testing on people and getting feedback.
so when do you exactly quit your job?
See, that's the thing. I never stepped into the engineering
Oh,
world.
really?
I never did. I graduated. I went
But
to
what
work
about
in
your
cafes.
other two co-founders?
Okay.
Like, how do they
Alright, so
support
basi-
themselves before you BurgerLab?
Well, Changming was working as an engineer for almost 2 years. He wasn't happy with what he's not happy with what he was doing. He just wasn't happy with his work environment. And when I offered that option of let's go start up a cafe, he was pretty excited about it. And he was pretty easy to convince because he wasn't enjoying what he was doing at the time. And then as for Wikit, it was a little bit of a different story. He was interning in New York at the time.
I see.
And in New York, there's this place called Shake Shack, which is I wouldn't say a direct rival of In-N-Out. One is on the East Coast, one is on the West Coast. But fans, they have legions of fans, and they will go, no, In-N-Out is better. No, Shake Shack is better. And we realized that, basically they are equal-footed in terms of having, a good fan base. And I called Wikit. I said, you know what, we need a numbers guy. We're gonna do something like Shake Shack in New York. Have you tried it? He said no. I said, go try it. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that here. And he tried it and he goes, wow, that's good. If you guys are doing this in Malaysia, I want in. So he cut short off his internship. He flew back, and yeah, that's how we started.
Well, you guys managed to fish them very nicely at the right spot,
Yeah,
right time.
I think a lot of times it's just looking at being able to see the opportunity
Mhm.
and finding the right people as well.
Mhm.
For us, a lot of things fell into place.
So I can sum up. You need three kind of people: the creative one, the operational one,
And the finance
the finance one.
Well, it is true in F&B. A lot of times, why I feel businesses don't do well is it's always a mom and pop shop, maybe a boyfriend girlfriend, and what happens is when they don't devote enough time into the business where there's a lot of things to take care of, they can't do everything well. There are exceptions, of course, and you can hire people to do those jobs as well, but people come and go. I rather have people with ownership. That idea itself extends into everyone that works with us. The ownership of the brand. That's why it's called myBurgerLab. It doesn't matter who says it.
So your staff are actually quite loyal to myBurgerLab, I suppose.
To a certain extent, because one thing is, we hire part-timers only, college and university students, and that's the reason to that. But we'll get into that if we do. The reason is because I wanted a workforce that was approachable. That you go in, you feel like you know them. No offense to foreign workers, but there's always a cultural and language barrier.
Of course.
And we feel that local kids, they are more approachable. And just tell them it's very simple to train. Treat the customers as if they're your friends. That's it. I want that environment. That's it. The rest of it is just drilling them with knowledge of the product.
So you want your staff to be happy so that they can treat other people.
We even have profit sharing with them.
Ah, okay,
Because we
that's
tell
interesting.
them the first thing, we have orientation before they start. We tell them what myBurgerLab stands for, who we are, what do we do, and why the word my is there. When you say myBurgerLab, it's yours as well. As long as you're working, we set aside a certain percentage of every month's sale that will be divided among everyone.
So actually, it's better to work for myBurgerLab than actually work for Starbucks.
Well, it's
Kidding,
different.
just-
It's different. I worked in Starbucks for a good 3 years, and I love the environment there. They have very good culture going, and we absorb a lot of that and turn it into our own culture, our own thing. Yeah.
Well, definitely what I can see from myBurgerLab is you guys do create a sense of belonging. You implant the sense of belonging to your employees, and I think that creates a very good environment to work at. And my next question is, just off air, you told me about the new branch in the Sunway. Yes. So how's it gonna be like? Is it gonna be the same like in the concept like what you guys say in
All
the
right.
city?
So that's really interesting because of the location itself, we decided to do something a little bit different. The Sunway Lab is called MBL HQ. It's larger than any of our 2 previous stores. And what we want to do with it is we want to have 3 concepts in one location. So BurgerLab has always been rest on Mondays. We work on Tuesday to Sundays, 5 p.m. to 10:15 p.m.
Oh, that's also another question. Like, why 5 p.m.?
Okay, we'll come to that. But so it's gonna be a dinner thing. It's gonna be a night thing. But for lunch, we're gonna launch a concept and we're gonna collaborate with another ex-geek of ours. We call our staff geeks. He runs his own cafeteria right now. He used to be the first runner-up of Malaysian MasterChef Season 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, very interesting guy.
Wow.
And we're going to be collaborating with him to open up Grub, 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 in Sunway for lunchtime.
Oh.
It's going to have hot dogs, burgers, roast chicken, fish and chips, like very... it's going to be a little bit different from BurgerLab. The burgers are going to be a little bit more quick serve, not so complicated, so we can get lunch out quick. So that's going to happen for Sunway lunch. And then on weekend, we see that there's a lot of brunch places going, and we want to do that, but give it a different twist. We're gonna put Texas and Aussie barbecue fusion into into a brunch menu.
Wow. Now I'm
hungry.
hungry.
Right?
So when can we visit your burger?
So for that, we split into 3 phases. December this year will be BurgerLab. Next year February it will be Grub, and then April it will be Project B barbecue.
Awesome.
So why 5 p.m. and
Operating
beyond?
hours,
Yeah.
right?
Right. As I said before, we hire college and university students. They have classes, so they end at around 3-4 o'clock, which would be perfect for them to just come into work. It wasn't planned. When we first started, we started on July 2012, which happens to be the summer month, and we had a lot of students which had free time. And between the 3 of us, two of us partners, founders, we play ultimate frisbee, and it's a lot of young people. So from that group of people, we said, "Look, guys, we are opening up a restaurant. Do you guys want to come help us out?" And obviously, it was something really exciting. So we got a bunch of kids. All of them are 19 to 21, and they came in to help. We taught them, how we do things and whatnot. And imagine coming into a brand new restaurant and you see people that are really, really young manning the kitchen and dishing out burgers that are pretty good. And it blew a lot of people's mind. People didn't understand what was going on. And we realized that we saw people talking. People were asking us, oh, which culinary schools are you guys from? Is this a school
Oh.
project? We're like, what kind of school project, builds a restaurant and but it wasn't. And we tell people, we're just trying to do our own thing. And college students started coming. And they were like, wow, this place looks like somewhere cool to work. Can I apply for a job? So that it kind of just kept the ball rolling. And we said, let's go in this direction. And these kids, they're energetic, they're happy, they're excited, and they can relate to the customers. So we said, let's go in this direction because it works for us. And because we went in that direction, we realized we can't open for lunch because the workforce, they are only free after 3. And managing such a big workforce of young people is no easy task.
I can
course.
understand that. Anyway, thanks for coming to Durian ASEAN and share your story.
No problem. It's my
We
pleasure.
hope to come to BurgerLab
Definitely,
one day.
I really want
I want
to
to try the
your burger.
latest flavor. I don't know what it is besides A+.
Well, but
Let's
thank you
go,
so
Jira.
much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.